taken the what comedy is supposed to be, which is kind of speaking truth to power, and you've undermined the whole premise, the whole reason why people admire you.
It's all heightened now
100%.
to everything happening here, where it would be like
yeah, there's no separating the art from the artist now. You made yourself out to be like a thoughtful, funny, tell it like it is guy who's relatable to the everyman, and then you go and you perform for evil royalty for blood money. That's wild. And if Bill Burr says nothing critical of Saudi Arabia while he's there, his credibility's gone, in my opinion. Yo, Mark Maron coming after Bill Burr and all at the Riyadh Comedy Festival? Good.
Well, there's a
fucking
Riyadh Comedy
good.
Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? You know, like, from the folks that brought you 9/11, 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know?
Saudi Arabia is set to host a major comedy festival in Riyadh, spanning late September through October, featuring some of the biggest names in international stand-up. Bill Burr, Tom Segura, Bobby Lee, Aziz Ansari, Hannibal Buress, Dave Chappelle, Jimmy Carr, Pete Davidson, and others are on the lineup. The event is being promoted as part of Saudi Arabia's
Jennifer Kirsten is her name? Yep, I thought I liked her. It's like watching someone's mom do stand-up. Fuck her. What in the fuck are you doing here, man? How do you be like, wait, who's on the lineup? Oh, that one guy. Oh, what's his name? Oh. I legitimately forget. I'm so glad I forget his name. Haha. Fucking rot in obscurity, dude. The Puddin' Pops guy. Bill Cosby. You got Bill Cosby? How? Was he released? Yes, he was released from prison in June 2021. They overturned his sexual assault conviction? And he can't be retried for the same charges. It was a prosecutorial mistake? Oh my god, dude. How do you drop the ball on one of the biggest sex criminals ever, dude? No wonder we didn't hear about it. Fucking so many people were dying from COVID in June 2021. Ugh. I hate this world, dude.
This broader push to showcase itself as a cultural...
And Joe Coy fought so hard to get to where he was. And he's just gonna sell out his integrity like that. How long were you an opener, dude? Damn. And Bill Burr, I've never been more disappointed, dude. There he is. Never been more disappointed in Bill Burr. I expect this shit from like Kevin Hart, Jimmy Carr, Andrew Schultz, Louis C.K. They're all pieces of shit. Of course they're gonna be there. And Bill Burr has bitched about Live Golf. God, dude.
hub under its Vision 2030 initiative. Yet beneath the glossy marketing lies a controversy that has ignited debate across comedy circles, podcasts, and social media.
Guys, it's that special time of year. It's the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And all of your favorite comedians are performing at the pleasure of Turki Al-Sheikh. And he is the head of the entertainment authority over there. And he has so many people thrown in prison because they tweeted stuff he didn't like about the soccer team or whatever, that there's a wing of a prison nicknamed after him where they hang people by their heels from the ceiling. Now, there's a lot of drips, killjoys, and dweebazoids who are saying, oh, they shouldn't do comedy over there because it's whitewashing a regime that just in June killed a journalist and killed Jamal Khashoggi and played a big role in 9/11. Shut up. Name one comedian who hasn't whored themselves out to a dictator. Sinbad in the 80s would go perform for dying Nazis hidden out in Argentina. Mr. Bean would do private shows for Idi Amin. Me and Bibi Netanyahu have collaborated. I pitched him a prank show called The West Bank, where it's hilarious. Like, people in masks show up and eject people from their homes, and they're terrified. They just traumatize these families, and then they can never come home. And it's been going on for years, but this season has been like action-packed. And it's a prank show, but there's also a true crime element because it violates international law and people have been killed a lot. Let's not get our, moral panties yanked up, wedged high in our rumps. Human Rights Watch has been begging the comedians not to participate in the whitewashing of the horrors that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. Ugh, what a cockblock Human Rights Watch is for comedy. Let's have some fun, let's have some yucks, and let's not look too closely at anything. I'm a hypocrite too.
Human rights organizations have argued that the festival is an attempt to whitewash the country's poor record on free speech, political dissent, and the treatment of journalists.
It's like stand-up comedy, AI art. If you can make that good, props to you. Like, if you can make AI look good, props to you. If you can make stand-up comedy look good, great, There's only so many murderers out there, There's only like 250 who can do it.
The event happens to coincide with the anniversary of the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and Saudi courts continue to sentence writers and analysts to death for expressing opinions deemed offensive by the state. These realities cast a long shadow over the festival, raising questions about whether participation amounts to complicity in image laundering. Mark Maron has become one of the most vocal critics of the festival and of comedians who accepted invitations. In a recent appearance, he
let's get to that.
questioned how performers could even promote such an event given the political context. He highlighted the contradiction of comedians, long champions of free expression, choosing to appear in a country where speech can carry severe consequences. He also suggested that the decision to perform boils down to money, remarking that integrity is easy to keep when no one is buying it out.
There's just a moment in the documentary where you're just talking about, it's like, people say I'm jealous. It's like, yeah, of course. It's like somebody gets paid $100 million to. It's like, of course I'm going to feel something.
It's not that I want $100 million necessarily. No. It's just sort of like, who would get that kind of money for that?
Why is anybody getting it?
And don't get me started about the Riyadh Comedy Festival. All these huge acts, I can name names, but you can just go look it up, we're offered complete, ridiculous amounts of the bloodiest money on the planet.
Yeah.
I can maintain this position. One, I wasn't asked.
Yeah, of course. That's always with me.
And I don't think I'd go. I know I wouldn't, but it's like, does history not matter at all? I mean, literally, it's like the Riyadh Comedy Festival from the guys who brought you 9/11.
It's just,
do you know what I mean? It's like, is that just nostalgia? Your check's being signed by the guy that chainsawed a journalist.
What fuels the backlash further is the irony surrounding Bill Burr. Years ago, he mocked the idea of comedians jetting off to dubious gigs for a payday, turning the concept into material about hypocrisy and selling out. Now he is doing exactly what he once ridiculed, a reversal that Maron and others see as emblematic of how financial opportunity can trump principle.
Because no one ever raises money for terrorists, right? I guess, unless you do a comedy show in like Saudi Arabia. Isn't that what they do? That's how they raise money with their filthy fucking oil money.
Not all comedians are following suit. Shane Gill.
Whoa, dude. Bill Burr is the ultimate hypocrite. Damn, dude. He's got no business lecturing Joe Rogan ever again, dude. Say goodbye to your credibility, Bill. Wow.
Illis reportedly declined to participate, citing discomfort with the politics involved. Tim Dillon initially agreed to perform but was allegedly dropped after making jokes critical of Saudi leadership and human rights abuses.
My agent called me and he goes, you said on Joe Rogan that you were performing in Abu Dhabi and you're actually performing in Dubai. They're cities and they have a rivalry. And I go, dude, who gives a fuck? What do I stop? I made a mistake. This is not a malicious slander. It's a mistake. He goes, well, they're very angry and they sent an email that you need to be controlled. I said, well, good luck. Whatever. I don't have to do it. I don't care. And then he called me a few days later, and I thought he was going to talk about the Kimmel thing. But he called me and he said, they heard what you said about them having slaves. And I said, I was being positive about it. I was defending them. He goes, well, I know that. I know you were defending them. I said, I was defending them for having slaves. I literally said, slaves are probably hard workers and, for the most part, agreeable.
The debate.
God, I hate everything, dude.
Over the Riyadh Comedy Festival underscores a broader ethical tension.
Carlos Mencia. Chris DiStefano. Yep.
One side argues that by performing in Saudi Arabia, comedians lend legitimacy to a regime that suppresses free speech and punishes dissent, effectively becoming part of its propaganda machine. The other side insists that art and comedy transcend politics, that reaching audiences in restrictive societies can be valuable.
Nope. That's the art-washing narrative.
And that the decision to perform should remain a personal one, not a moral referendum. Ultimately, the controversy is not just about one festival, but about what it means for comedians to claim authenticity and freedom of speech while accepting lucrative opportunities in places where those very freedoms are denied.
I think the numbers have been floated around 150,000 for a show, 375,000 for a show, 1.6 million I heard for a show.
Jesus. Shit, I'd do an hour for... I'd have to have enough money to literally start a country. So I probably need like $1 trillion. A cool trillion would be perfect. Then I would perform for Mohammed bin Salman. I want it to be too much money for him. We don't even know how much money the Saudi royal family has in liquid or assets. The problem is it's blood money, so the more blood money you get, the more fucked up it is that you have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's disappointing, Bill Burr.
It's very disappointing. I mean,
it's disappointing. I mean, you know, if there's one comedian I've always admired, it is Andrew Schultz. And I gotta say, this feels like a surprising lack of character in this moment. I will say, in my mind, and you can judge me all you want for this. This is the most disappointing thing Louis C.K. has ever done.
Oh, God.
It's a bummer. I mean, listen, there's a number of people. Oh my God, there's a number of people on the list that it's a real big bummer.
I mean, the irony is probably while he's in Saudi Arabia, this is probably the best behaved he'll ever be in a green room in his entire life.
You also have to share a lineup with Bill Cosby. So not only do you have to take the icky blood money, you have to share a lineup with Louis C.K. and Bill Cosby.
Jim Jeffries, on his podcast, kind of talking about it, he was like, we are comedians, we are freedom of speech machines. And I think that's incredibly idealistic, the idea that, like, but so his argument was, well, by performing there, the overall argument that all entertainment is steeped in blood money, and if you perform on this, that, and the other, you're contributing to bad people getting money, which is kind of an overall nihilistic argument, which I think negates all morality, and then whatever.
Yeah.
But
Whoa.
in his mind,
no, it's just participation in capitalism, and there's no ethical participation in capitalism. So, you want to go see a comedy show? Go. It's not any more fucked up than anything else you're doing in your day-to-day life, participating in capitalism, so go ahead. Who cares?
There's an argument of like, okay, you're going to a place where there's even less freedom of speech than in America right now, which we can revisit. The fact that America does not have this dealistic freedom of speech, as a lot of college students who protested Israel can attest to. But he goes like, by going there, you are challenging the system, you are making jokes.
Yeah, you're stuck in capitalism. You might as well go see a comedy show, you know?
You are perhaps enacting change or inspiring people, which, okay, let's grapple with that for a second. Do you think these comedians, many of whom I think are nervous to be going from just nervous in general, the same way that I was nervous going to Istanbul and telling some jokes, do you think they're going to go on stage and really make a joke about Khashoggi? Do you think they're really going to go on stage and make a joke about slaves that are in Saudi Arabia? Do you think they're going to make a joke about the more recent journalist who was killed over a tweet that they said was incendiary? I don't think so.
Yeah. Listen,
I don't think so.
How many conversations do you think people had to be like, who else is doing it? You know, like
Absolutely.
in terms of like, oh, because there's like some big people, like a Bill Burr, like an
like
Aziz,
Fluffy. Oh, sorry.
like
Yeah.
that once that was in place, others underneath were like, oh, Bill Burr's doing it. Okay, great.
And exactly, and it's like, that's why those people are the most disappointing of them all, because you give cover. If Bill Burr's doing it, sure. And listen, I like
yeah,
Bill
I'm
Burr.
a big fan. I'm a big fan. It's a bummer. It's a
And listen, maybe
we'll
he's the one to do it.
Have him on the pod.
Well, absolutely, and maybe he's the one to say the thing. I guess the question is, like, do you think that there is a world where, like, you could express yourself enough? Here, it's like this. The only way you're really going to fulfill your comedian's duty is saying something that they regret booking you.
Yeah.
If a government, and I felt the same way about if Trump hired you for something, and if Biden hired you for something, where it's like, as a stand-up comedian, I always say,
or like when the White House had Stephen Colbert in the Bush era for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and he just basically laid into him using a slideshow as like an accompaniment, where he had like graphs and all these pictures and stuff, making fun of him and stuff. It was wild. And at first Bush was laughing, and then it took a turn where he got like deeply uncomfortable. But I think Colbert got like, his performance got stopped, and he wasn't allowed to finish it.
hey, Michelle Wolf,
if I remember correctly,
did the most incredible thing where she performed at an event in a way that they said no more.
Yes,
but
that is done forever.
It is done. And listen, if it's Riyadh Comedy Festival, this becomes a new annual festival. I think these comedians have failed to do their job as comedians. You've taken the what comedy is supposed to be, which is kind of speaking truth to power, and you've undermined the whole premise, the whole reason why people admire you.
It's all heightened now
100%.
to everything happening here, where it would be like
there's no separating the art from the artist now. You made yourself out to be like a thoughtful, funny, tell it like it is guy who's relatable to the everyman, and then you go and you perform for evil royalty, for blood money. That's wild. And if Bill Burr says nothing critical of Saudi Arabia while he's there, his credibility's gone, in my opinion. What amount of lecturing could he do toward any other sellout? None. Especially not Joe Rogan.
If Trump was hiring a bunch of UK comics to come over and do something, we would be like, what the fuck? Like, and so, we would have so much judgment on, why are you coming and doing this gig for this guy who's pulling back rights and threatening late night hosts and all sorts of things. And while, literally killing journalists over there. So it's just the same thing of like, it feels so heightened right now to just see the real life example and be like, well, we would go apeshit if like we saw people coming over here to perform for Trump right now, as like an act of, making it seem normal and cool.
And I'm not fully, I don't know, I'm grappling with the thing of like, I don't want to like, I don't want to be here saying like, don't fuck all these people forever.
Yeah.
As we've already said, I want too many of them on the podcast. It's more.
Yeah, I'll say fuck them all forever. If you took that blood money as like an easy way out, an easy bag, fuck you forever, dude. For real.
Where's your fucking badge, you pigs? We go hard for Palestine. We escalate for Palestine. We fight for Palestine. We give it everything we got. We do not work with the police. We do not point people out to the police. We do not lay hands on our comrades. When we go hard for our people, you stand out the way. If you ain't with them,